Good evening, guys. Welcome back. It's a perfect weather here. We're doing ACCA SBL past paper September 2020, and we already done with the first meeting. Okay, this is going to be our second meeting. In the first meeting, we did not discuss the answer. We discussed the question paper. Okay, September 2020, which was a non-profit organization. Today is our second meeting. And if you say answer, that's the first meeting. So today is our second meeting. We'll be discussing the answer, the possible solution, all that. And in the next meeting, it means we'll have total 3 meetings. The next meeting we'll be doing the remaining requirements. Okay. Today we'll be doing fully 2 requirements, and then the remaining 2 in the next meeting. All right. Let me share my screen real quick. There you go. This is okay. So it's great if you have the question paper ready, okay? Because I have 2 screens, so I'll be sharing my answer thing, whatever I'll be writing and discussing with you. But I have my question paper also there so that I can read the requirement thing. Okay, so we already done with the reading part, and with the understanding and interpreting part, we already done the first meeting, the previous meeting. Today we'll be talking about the answer, and let me see the first requirement, which is it's the new chairperson, Randy Jeffels, has recently commenced his new role with BCO, is the name of the organization. It's a non-profit organization. Again, I say the case is very easy when it's about the requirement. When you'll be looking at the requirement and the answer and all that, it's really very easy. Especially you see like you're doing something F9 or maybe the corporate governance part of F8 or something like that. But it is difficult because in the previous meeting I said because it's different. It's different because of the objective, because of I say the nature of the organization. Okay, I don't call it different. I call it I don't call it difficult. I say it's a different. But most of the students, those who attended this paper, they said like it was difficult paper for them. But I think it's very easy. When we'll be doing it, we'll come to know it's not a bad paper. Very easy in terms of requirement, in terms of attempting. It is easy. But yes, it's different, it's unique. Okay, so here the new chairperson, Randy Jeffer, recently joined. Okay, keep this thing in mind when you're attempting the answer, that when a new person, let me see myself, let me see, there you go. Okay, because I want to see my body language as well. Okay, when a new chairperson, a new CEO, the new departmental manager, whenever the new guy comes in, he or she is always in, I say, in a learning phase. Learning means it's not about the debit credit concept, but it's about the good terminology would be it's he or she is actually normally an understanding phase, understanding situation. He or she tries to understand the situation, understand the structure, understand the process, understand the culture, understanding stakeholders and all that. Okay, we bringing a qualified person, but it's still there's always learning. Okay, so that's the thing. So keep this thing in mind that you have this new guy comes in, and then not only a new guy, look at the position where he or she's there. Okay, so it means when you understand this thing, like what do you say, the pervasive effect, because he or she has the impact all over the board, all over the organization, different stakeholders, competitors, and all that. It's not the supervisor of a small project team, it's the chairperson. So keep this thing in mind when you're writing the answer, that you're talking actually to a new guy, you're making the briefing notes to a new person, okay, who is new in the company, and absolutely the powerful position. He has called a meeting with the management board. You remember we got 2-tier board here, okay? One is the supervisory board and second is the management board, and has asked for each board member to make a short presentation to assist him in better understanding of, okay, the chief financial officer, the CFO, who is actually your boss because you are the finance guy. The chief financial officer has been asked to present on the BCO's governance principle and activities and its financial, non-financial performance in the latest financial year. The CFO has asked you to do it. Okay, what is the requirement now? Prepare a briefing note for the CFO. Just a briefing note. Do it real quick. Okay. Okay. Prepare a briefing note for the CFO which explains, number 1, the specific nature of principal agent relationship of the BCO as a charitable organization. Just hold on. All right. Okay. The specific nature of the okay. If they say no specific nature, just the agency relationship in a typical organization, that becomes a knowledge-based question. We're not doing any knowledge-based question SBL. But look at the requirement. It is easy. They're asking. It looks like ACCA F1 or ACCA F4 paper. The specific nature of the principal-agent relationship of the BCO as a charitable organization, not as a commercial organization, as a charitable organization. What is requirement 2? Because you'll be writing the whole briefing note and covering all these 3 requirements, 1, 2, 3. Second, the advantages for the BCO of having a 2-tier board structure. Okay, they have a 2-tier board structure. What are the benefits of having this charitable organization, the BCO having this multi-tier? Multi-tier you call or 2-tier, because in some countries there are 3 boards as well. In our case study, we got only two boards. Okay, that's what's saying 2-tier board. Sometimes you call it multi-tier board because you got 3 board as well. Okay, and then the last requirement is how the BCO's mission and strategic objectives. You remember, mission they have already provided us, and the 3 strategic objectives meet its key stakeholders needs. 12 marks along with 2 professional marks, which is extra 2 professional marks, which is going to be 14, and that's professional marks for commercial acumen. So when you're writing this answer, keep the industry knowledge, the business sense, and commercial acumen thing in your mind when you're writing the answer. Okay, let's look here. There you go. Requirement A, and we're talking about the one. When it's about the briefing notes, there is no to form or something like that. No, just you write the briefing note and you start up. What is the specific nature of principal agent relationship of the BCO as a charitable organization? So first of all, if you explain a little about what is agency relationship. We all know in agency relationship, in a typical agency relationship, what happens is the principal, who is sometimes the owner or sometimes he's on behalf of the shareholders, okay, on behalf of the shareholders, what he or she does, he gives autonomy and authority to someone you call agent and allows him to do the transaction, the contract on behalf of him or her. Maybe due to the knowledge thing, okay, sometimes the knowledge, sometimes it's the timing issue, sometimes it's the resources thing. So this relationship, like when the agent, when a person works on behalf of the other guy, who is actually the principal and the owner. So the person who delegates the authority becomes the principal, and the person who is delegated the authority becomes the agent, and he or she works on behalf of the principal. That's a typical I say agency relationship. So when you talk about a commercial organization, in commercial organization, the principal or the agent, they work in the best interest of what? Of shareholders. Yes, same case like the board of directors and the shareholders. What the shareholders do, they become the principal. The company is the principal as a legal entity. The shareholders are principal. They give authority to the board of directors and management, and they do the work. Okay, this is what happens in commercial organization. But here in BCO, now we're going to the case. Here in BCO, now you're explaining, you writing a briefing note for your CFO, and that guy is going to present to the new person, which is the chairperson. Okay, in BCO, the principal, who are the principal? In BCO, the principals are actually the board of trustees. The board of trustees, they are actually the principal. They have the power, and they are actually representing, I don't say they are representing the shareholders, they're representing different stakeholders group. For example, donors. For example, a public. Okay, because the public, those who are giving you the donation, or maybe the public, those who care of the environment, they're representing to a group which cannot come here to attend the meeting or to any AGM. Ooh, the species, the animals, they're actually representing the board of trustees. They are actually the principal in this BCO arrangement, in this BCO non-profit charitable organization, and they're bringing the interest. They're protecting the interest of what? Interest of a different stakeholder, or you can use this term. That's a good term. Wider stakeholders group, wider community. In wider community, when you say, it's actually the public, your donors, volunteers, and your animals and species and all. So they are the real board of trustees. What they do now, they have actually delegated their authority to the second board, which is the management board. Okay. Now, management board, in which you have the executive guys and you have the CEO and the MD and all that. Now they do the day-to-day activity. They take like operational decisions and all that. Okay. Now, this management board, they work as an agent of the board of trustees. So board of trustees, they become the principal. They are the principal in this relationship, in this organization, non-profit organization. Whereas the management board of BCO, use these terms of BCO, they works as an agent. They work as an agent, and they use their skills. Okay, they use their skills, and you hope you remember that the fiduciary duty, the trust relationship, the skills, and all that, and they work on behalf of the board of trustees. And board of trustees, they are here to protect the wider stakeholders' interest. Okay. Now, obviously, when there is an agency relationship, there is always a consideration. So why? Agents are not working free of cost, because see, they're working in the best interest of the organization, in the best interest of the principal, and obviously those who are representing those principal. So, and they're using their skills, their experience. You can use all these things. The fiduciary duty they perform. There's a trust relationship. They use their extraordinary, whatever their skills and knowledge they have, the reasonable skill. All these things they do on behalf of the principal. So obviously they are paid, and they get the consideration. Consideration from where? From obviously from the organization resources. Organization resources. The CEO, the executive directors, they are all paid. They are full-time employees and they are paid. So this is the specific nature of principal agent relationship of the BCO in this charitable organization. Okay, that's the thing. This you will be explaining to your CFO, and then the CFO is going to explain with the help of these briefing notes. He's going to help. He's going to explain to whom? To the chairperson, to the new chairperson, that this relationship, and using this commercial acumen, that this relationship is important. Because if they have the board of trustees, or let's say if they don't have a board of trustees, and they have the donors and let's say the volunteers and the public and animals and all that, who is going to represent you? So we need principal in as a bridge or as a liaison between the management board, because they have extraordinary skills and they have the time and they have the resources and they are paid people. So we need some sort of bridge and a liaison between the wider stakeholder and wider community in the society and this management board or the employees. Okay, so using this commercial acumen, that yes, it justifies cost benefit analysis, although you're not saying that, but you're explaining it this way. Okay, now let's move on. In the same briefing note, the same paragraph will say, what are the advantages for the BCO of having a two-tier board? Okay, now you'll need to have a great concept of this thing, a crystal clear concept of two-tier board. So first of all, I'm not saying you write the typical advantage. Don't write, you're wasting your time. Okay, because you won't get any money, any marks out of this writing typical advantages. But you know the function. See, let me give you this example. If I ask you what are the advantages of aircraft, or what are the advantages of a vehicle, and somebody doesn't know the function of the vehicle. So whenever you write any answer, first of all, you need to understand the function of the two-tier board. Once you understand the function of the two-tier board, the authority, the relationship, and all that, once you understand that thing, then you can explain the advantage. Okay, like I understand the function of vehicle, then I can explain you the advantage. Yeah, it's efficient. Okay, just an example. All right, so what are the functions of two-tier board specific for BCO, specific for BCO. Okay, so right now we have two boards here. The first one is the board of trustees. This is the one room. This is the executive room. And the second one is the management board. So we have two board of directors. We have two board rooms, two different types of board meetings going on. Okay. Now one is called the supervisory board. The board of trustees. I'm writing this BOT, and MB means management board. So this board of trustees is actually the supervisory board. Okay. What they do, they actually protect stakeholders' interest. In some organization, board of trustees comprises of different stakeholders. Let's say one or two guys from the bankers because they want to protect themselves, their finances and all. One or two guys from the customer side. One guy from the labor union, one from the customer side, one from the supplier side, one from the regulator side, and then they have this independent chairman. That's called the supervisory board. Okay, and then you have one more board. Let me see myself. And then they have one more board which is called the management board, and they perform all these activities. Okay, normally they are executive people, and those are not executive guys. Okay, so what are the benefits of having two-tier board? Why not just one board in BCO, in this organization? What are the benefits? You're using your skill, your commercial acumen skill. How about we have this one board and we save our resources and cost and all that? But they're not asking that. They're not asking the disadvantages. They're asking the two-tier board advantages. The first advantage is definitely stakeholders' interest is more, I say, protected, is more protected when having a supervisory board or when having a multi-tier board. Stakeholders' interest is more protected in terms of, I say, in terms of accountability. Because what management board is now accountable, if there used to be only a single board, where is the accountability? So if there are two-tier board, the management board is accountable to the supervisory board, and then they are representing they are actually explaining to the stakeholders, to the users. Okay, so the first thing is, I can say these are two advantages actually. First of all, the stakeholder interest is more protected, more secure. Second is, in terms of accountability, there is more accountability. It means the fraud and risk, I say risk and fraud chances are minimized. Okay, what any other benefit? Just think. Transparency, more transparent reporting, whether it's integrated reporting or financial reporting or non-financial reporting, it is more transparent because there are more check and balances. Okay, then you have one more thing which I say, better decision making. Better decision making, because more the alternatives, you'll have better the solution. Whatever they're doing it in terms of strategy and all that, it goes to the supervisory board for the approval. I'm not saying the day-to-day thing, but when it's about the strategic objectives and the strategies and all that, so it requires a dual check. Okay, so better decision making. So you like let's say you get this external blood, or maybe some more outside expertise, or if they have this one more, I say, more independence, more, I say, more neutrality in the organization, more independence. Because when you look at the executive directors, see, normally what happens, executive directors are paid people, and obviously they get some good fat cat salaries and big cat salaries. Okay, and normally their performances are dependent on their consideration, and their rewards and their share option and their bonuses all are dependent on the performance. So what they do, they normally take high risk. If you allow them to take the decision, what they do, just imagine, they take high risk. Why? Because with high risk you get high returns, and when they get high returns, when the bottom line is good, they're getting the percentage out of it in terms of bonuses and salaries and all that. But see, when you talk about the independent non-executive directors, okay, they don't have any dependency. They don't have any, let's say, I say, share option or profit sharing scheme or maybe a retirement option and all that. So when it's about the decision making and when it's about the risk management, it is, it's more neutrality you see in the system and in the culture, more neutrality and more independence. Okay, so you'll have transparency, you have better decision making because of the external blood and external expertise and all that. You'll have more independence. The fraud and risk chances, they reduce in this BCO and all that. And see, now if you want to do more linkage, let's do it here. Currently, this charitable organization, which is a BCO, already we have gone through the paper or the question paper. We have seen this environmental issue that's going on, the donation issue, environmental issues, the legal issues, the political issues, the economical recession is going on. All that thing, like I say, the turbulent environment for this particular entity and for this particular sector. So obviously it's not only the management board who can handle. So we need some sort of supervisory board or some sort of people with more experience and with some sort of outside expertise. We definitely need it, and that's one of the benefits of this what do you call it, two-tier board structure. Okay, all right. And obviously I just said the representation. You see, when you have this two-tier board, the stakeholders are more comfortable because they know, let's say there are 1,000 employees. There are 1,000 employees and they're two-tier board. And one of the guys from the labor union sitting in the board. So all the employees who are the part of this labor union, now they're more comfortable because, okay, one of our boys is sitting in the board, and if they'll be taking any decision, whether it's about the delayering, downsizing, or anything, they're comfortable that one of my representatives is there. So it gives a more good, healthy corporate image, and it satisfies more stakeholders. Okay, and it attracts good stakeholders as well. So these are the benefits. Now, what is the third requirement? How the BCO's mission and strategic objective meet the stakeholder needs. Very, very, very simple question. How the mission and the strategic objectives meet the stakeholders' need. So there you go, mission. And these are the stakeholders. Whatever you have, you got employees and volunteers. What are the stakeholders of BCO? Okay, you have employees. Okay, let me write here, employees, BCO. Not only the employees, we got volunteers, we got animals, habitats, we have wider community, which is the public, we have donors, so many, we got regulators and all that. These are all stakeholders. What is the requirement? What is the question? How this mission statement is satisfying, is accommodating stakeholder needs. Is our mission statement good enough to satisfy the stakeholder need? And what about our 3 strategic objectives? Same requirement. Are those strategic objectives 1, 2, 3? Let me read again. Are those strategic objectives going to satisfy our stakeholders? Stakeholders are there with you. Okay, so see, stakeholders are with you. Stakeholders are with the organization. Why? Because they have some sort of claim. They have some sort of need. They have some sort of interest in the organization. That's why they're there. Requirement is there a mission statement satisfying the stakeholder need and along with our strategic objectives? Okay. Now, let me tell you one thing. Normally, when organizations, when they set their names, just the brand name, see, even the brand name should be good enough. The brand name should be good enough to, some sort of it's satisfying the stakeholder, some sort of it should represent the product or the service or the stakeholder or the community or the society, whatever. But it's not always the case. Sometimes we can't find such name. So what they do, they have this logo, they have this slogan. Everything has a history. the logo, the slogan, the name, all that has a history. And when you ask the senior leadership or the founder, you say, why do you have this name or this logo or this slogan or maybe this color? And they'll tell you this story. They'll tell you the story that why we have this thing, why we have this name, why we have this logo or slogan or this color combination and all that. But it's not always the case. Most of the time they do, but it's not always. But when you talk about the mission statement, this is a formal statement. This is a formal written statement, one-liner, maybe 1.5-liner. I'm not saying the objectives or detailed targets and all that. No, I'm just saying the mission statement, which when you open the financial statement, when you open the annual report of the organization of any company, just the first page, you see the mission and then you see the vision, right? There you go. And then when you look at the website, normally you find it on the head offices or maybe the big walls, they say mission statement. Everybody must know the mission statement of the organization. So I'm not saying the name or the logo slogan, that is fine. It could be funky. It could be maybe sometimes irrelevant and out of the blue something. But when it's about the mission statement, it's not like that. It's always a formal statement, a good statement, and this work should never be delegated. This is set by senior executive. It's a great thinking process. That what is mission statement? What do you do? What is mission statement? What organization does in the society? What is the job of the organization in the community, in the society? Okay, whatever. Well, let's say it's a food company. So okay, our mission is to provide good, healthy, quality food. Maybe you are educationist and you have a college or you have a school something, and that school is particularly for the lower class people, like those who are not that privileged. So what should be the mission statement? We provide quality education in the field of science and accountancy or whatever, economically. See, this term is saying that we give a cost-effective options. We are a cost leader in terms when it's about selling our education. Okay, so here, what is their mission statement? Let's look here in their report. Submission about us. If you go on question number in your question case, in your case study, if you go on page number 6 and the footnotes exhibit 1, it says our mission: protecting and conserving our wildlife for future generation. That is awesome. Okay, this is their protecting and conserving our wildlife for future generation. This is how you start. That our mission statement says to protecting and conserving our wildlife for future generation. Is this mission statement good enough? Let me write here. Is this mission statement good enough to represent our stakeholder and satisfy our stakeholder need? The answer is yes, because our mission statement here at BCO talks about the sustainability, which is actually our product. Sustainability, our product, because we're talking about our future generation. That's why we take care of this wildlife and the natural cycle and all that. So yes, it covers up in these words for future generations. It talks about the sustainability, right? So it is satisfying the stakeholder needs, which are what? Your wider community, those animals and all that, and protecting and conserving our wildlife. It says wildlife, so it means the different types of stakeholders. You got primary stakeholders and secondary stakeholders. You have known stakeholders and unknown stakeholders. This mission statement at BCO is specific, talks about protecting our wildlife, which is actually their objective also, and which is actually their major product and their primary stakeholder. So yes, by mentioning this wildlife, they actually satisfy the need of their primary stakeholder, which is actually the wildlife, the animals, for future generation. And with these two things, future generation, they actually talk about the overall sustainability of the wider community and the whole planet, I say. Okay, so yes, mission is great, mission is powerful, and how this is satisfying and how it's linked up with the stakeholder need, this way you explain. But now the second thing is the 3 strategic objectives. 1, 2, 3 are strategic objectives. All right, what are the 3 strategic objectives? And those 3 objectives, if you see after a few lines here in the same exhibit 1, the first strategic objective. Ensure that 100 threatened species are protected and returned to their natural habitat. Very simple. Do you think this strategic objective, this, what is this, 100 threatened species, do you think this particular strategic objective, this number one strategic objective out of 3, is it going to satisfy our stakeholder need? The answer is yes. When the BCO saying, when our strategic objective saying that we ensure that 100 threatened species, it means you actually representing with this, you actually representing your primary stakeholder, and yes, it is going to satisfy. And I think in exhibit number 2 or 3 in future, in the same question paper, in the case study, it says that, and maybe we'll be doing in the second requirement, by doing this KPIs, the non-financial indicator, that what they did in the previous year, they were more efficient in getting those threatened species, and they return to their natural habitats. So it means yes, with this strategic objective, they actually perform, and this is also their objective. They not only they're performing, but this is their objective as well. It means their aim and their ends as well. So yes, this is going to satisfy their primary stakeholder need, which is the animal habitats, okay, the wildlife. The second is invest in 100 wildlife habitat projects across the world through providing training and education for the local staff, volunteers, and community. It says yes. The second objective also representing and also satisfying the stakeholder needs of their employees. Yes, we give them training, we have employees, they want training, and not only our employees, we got employees which are paid voluntary stakeholders and the paid people, and we have the volunteers which are not the employees and full-time employees of the organization. So not only we provide training and education for local staff, volunteers, and communities as well. So yes, they also are a stakeholder, and this is our objective, and it is aligned with our stakeholder needs. Which stakeholders? Your employees and your volunteers and the communities. And the third one is ensure 1 million people, 1 million people are better connected with nature. Okay, better connected with nature through education and awareness of the natural world they live in. See, your organization exists, the BCO. You can start like this. The existence of BCO is dependent on what? It's dependent on the people who care. Okay, let's say you have a charity of health charity. You have a charity in a community, in a society, in a city, in a country. We talk about education for poor people. Okay, education for poor people. Your charity can only work when people care about this cause, when people value this cause. Okay, if people do not, let's say there are 2 supermarkets. The one department of the store says that we give 1% of our profit to the schools and to the education sector, where they provide education to the poor people. Okay, this one of the department of the store says, and both the department of the store like same, more or less same. The second department of the store says that we give 1% of our profit to the hospitals where they treat poor people. Now you, the customer, where will you go? It depends. It depends what you value, which cause you value. If you value education, you think this world requires education, education for all, you'll definitely say, okay, thank you, I don't want to go in this one, I'll go this department store. But if you're the guy and you say, no, health is very important, once you're healthy, then you get the education, then you will definitely go on the second lane. Okay, this is the case here. When you say you have one of the strategic objectives is ensure 1 million people, ensure 1 million people are better connected with nature, like you give them awareness, you talk about the global warming, you talk about this importance of animal habitats, you tell them about the importance of the cycle, natural cycle, and the strong sustainability and all that. Now just imagine if the existence of this organization, this BCO, is dependent on the people, and more people should get this awareness. If people are not getting this awareness, what will happen? You won't get donors, you won't get new volunteers, new employees. No, they say, okay, this charity is good for nothing, or maybe the whole charitable sector is good for nothing. So yes, when you saying that this is one of our strategic objectives, yes, it is going to satisfy our stakeholder needs or stakeholder interests, because our major stakeholders are public, that ecological environment. Okay, because it's not only about the animal. If they support you, then you can support the animals, and all your activities and your management board will get the salary and the rent and all that system works. Okay, so that's the thing. So yes, our mission statement, not only our mission statement, but our 3 strategic objectives, it's good aligned with our stakeholder interest and need. Let's move on. What is requirement A? And requirement A is done with 1, 2, 3. Now we have requirement 1B. Analyze the financial and non-financial performance of the BCO in the latest financial year 2001, providing reasons for and implication of the result. This is very simple, very simple requirement. I say it's paper F9. Simple. It is F9. It's talking about the financial and NFPs, non-financial performance indicators. Okay, like you just have to read the financial statement. Let's do it real quick. What is the exhibit here? There you go. This is exhibit 3. Now that's also an art, just go on the right spot. Okay, so that this thing is going to work with this. But obviously, when you write your answer, it's not about the isolation thing, because it's a complete project. So whether you write requirement A, B, C, D, whatever, you have this thing in your mind, the whole case study, the whole problem of your client. I call examiner the client, okay? And this, like BCO is your client right now. So here in exhibit 3, if you see, oh, well, you're more better guy than me, like in finance, because you're done with your F9 and all that. Okay, I've also done, but refresh it. Okay, so when you see the financial thing, okay, keep this thing in mind. And definitely they'll be asking you some sort of, let me see, what are the professional marks? Should be analysis, I believe. Let me see. Here the professional marks, yes, it's all about analysis. Analysis, whatever the data you're getting or whatever the data is providing, create some logical linking, okay? Go in depth, logical linking. See, when you talk about the financial and non-financial, it means the financial statement, the balance sheet and everything is given. 2, 3 things should be in mind. The first thing, liquidity. Okay, one is obviously the bottom line, the profitability, whether it's a profit organization, non-profit organization, you can start with this. Whether we talk about the financial thing in a commercial organization, obviously bottom line matters. But when it's about non-profit organization, at the same time, it is very important because of the sustainability of the system. If you don't have any surplus, if you don't have any, I call it a profit or a surplus or whatever, you're good for nothing. How can you survive? Because it's not only the profit organization who has the expenses and assets and liabilities and all that and stakeholders. Non-profit and charities, they also have the expenses. Okay, see, so keep this in mind. It's not only about this BCO. Whenever it's asked about the financial, non-financial thing, okay, profitability, liquidity, very important is efficiency, looking at the expenses and all that. Efficiency, profitability, liquidity, some sort of risk side, looking at the expenses and income. And when you talk about the charitable organization, what is the major risk? It's the uncertainty of income. It is the uncertainty of income, because you are actually dependent on your donors, your volunteer people, those who are actually paying you, and then your system works, or your system runs, right? Okay, so uncertainty of income. Now let's see, look at this income side. All right, 2, 3 points here. Look at the income side, the wildlife park admission. Okay, 2000 is here, 2001 is here. 1923 to wildlife park admission is from 30005 to 3103. A very important thing here. Are you allowed to take calculator in the examination? Yes, but you don't get marks just for this exact writing of formula, return on capital employed divided by this. This is not F1, F2, F3 paper. Or you think I'll do the exact calculation, 3005 divided by this 31103, what is the percentage? No. Even if you are this, I was reading the exam report of I believe it was ACCA P3 guy. Okay, he was the examiner, and he said, even if you don't have the calculator, and you look at the numbers and you write an educational guess, like let's say if somebody says, what is the percentage of 19 in the whole $200? So what I say, near to 10%. So if you writing your in a narrative form, you're writing your answer and all that, you representing to the board or CEO, they don't care about this thing. Even when you go in a professional world, those who are working in a professional life, they know that all these 3 zeros we normally eliminate because we understand the concept of materiality on that. And you have to see like whom you reporting, whom you representing. Okay, you say 1.9 million. What about the hundreds and thousands and all? You just ignore it. Okay, so if you say, let's say it's near to 10%, no matter it's 9.8%, 9.9, but if you write okay 10%, the examiner is not going to deduct your marks. Okay, just keep this thing in mind. So now if you see 3005, so 3103, the income from wildlife park admission, so admission income is going up with whatever the percentage, I don't know, you can do that. So is this a good point or bad? Just now evaluate it. Yes, because see, we don't want to be our organization to be dependent just on donations. Donation is a different thing. And people those who are coming to your organization, they pay you the admission fee. That's a different thing. So that's a very good guy, a good point here, that our organization is now less dependent on donation and more like more people coming in. It means our facility and our place is become attractive for the people they're coming in, and that's why we have seen a good increment in what? In the admission fee. So that's also one of the sources of income, and that's a good point because the donor thing is normally more uncertain. Second, membership fees. Now this is membership fees. The individual 1923 was in 2000 and it's 1973. That's also going up when it's about the individual. Like the individual, those who are paying, but the corporate one is from 2000, it was 90, and now it's going to 210. Okay, so if you see the membership fee, wildlife income membership, but this is also not donation. Donation, there is a separate point. So wildlife park admission is 3005 to 3103, and membership fees, people get like membership and subscription, that also increased from 1923 to 1973, especially when you look at the corporate, it's more than double, 90 and then 210. Okay, education programs, 2.1 million to 2023, that's decreasing. Now here, good point here. If you say that your education programs are decreasing, what is one of your strategic objective? One of your strategic objective is the education, the second and the third one. Here you see in the income point, it used to be 2.1 million, but now it's near to 2 million. That's the bad point, and we need to be careful with this thing, okay? Because that's also linked with our strategic objectives, and very important is if your education program, if your awareness program is not good, it's not going to attract new people to coming in this industry or coming in this donation side or admission side or membership side or subscription side. Okay, then wildlife park, shop and cafe. When obviously when people are coming in here and they are actually physically coming in at your place, and you have seen the first line 3005 to 3103, obviously when they are here, they spend time on your cafe, and they buy some t-shirts which says BCO, they buy some this glass, this mug or something like that, let's say there's so many things they buy. Okay, so here see wildlife park, shop and cafe, 2115, no sorry, 4923 to 5 million, 4.9 million to 5.6 million. That's a great point. It means our cafe has become attractive, like people are spending time there, people are spending money there. Our dining area, our cafe, and our all that, what do you call, the shops and all that, they're working good in terms of efficiency, in terms of generating money for the BCO. That's a good point. Then donation, grants, and legacies. 8.6 million to 7. Yes, from 8 to 7 it is dropping, and that's a bad point, because your organization is dependent on what? On the legacies, on the, if people sell their properties or their will or their donations and all that. So donors confidence is going down. One, it could be one of the reason is the economical environment as well. Okay, we'll be discussing in the passive one. Then other sale of property, there's one more income which is one-off income, sale of property. But can you say the 2001 performance is good because we sold up, we got an income from the sale of property? No, that's just a one-off thing. Every time there is no sale of property. So okay, the result looks like 20 million. If you look at the total income, it says 20 million in 2000, but now it's 20.792, more or less the same, is just a little difference. But keep this sale of property in mind when you're writing this answer. Keep this thing in mind, that's just the one-off event. So if you take this impact out, where you stand. But the good part is income is income. No, income is not income. Look at the source of the income. If the income is coming from the people coming there at your place and the membership and the subscription, that could be a good point. If the income is coming from the cafe and your shops and all that, that's a good point. But if the income is coming from, and it's decreasing also, it is coming from the donors outside. Those are not coming here, they're just donors, and it's decreasing also. That is actually dependency and time to think. Okay, then go on the expenditure side. Okay, look at the efficiency model there. Charitable activities, animal support cost, wildlife park and all that, from 9 million to from 9 million to it reached to 10 million. Okay, so it means your expense went up. Your expense went up. That's a bad part. But just imagine, last time we talked about, when you were reading this question paper, we said that they actually increase their, what you call, the performance and the number of animals. The number of animals, they got the animals, the threatened animals, and they returned to their habitats. Obviously, when the activity goes up, at the same time the cost goes up. So yes, the cost is up. That's obviously the time to think, but it's a commercial cost. Then animal support cost in the field staff, facilities and transport and medical, 4 million to 4.2. Okay, staff training, which was 1.1 million, and it's dropped down to 1 million. The training cost, that is the point. Your strategic objectives, your number of employees. If you go down and you see number of, you must have the question paper. It says number of paid staff has actually decreased. Number of paid staff has decreased. Could be one of the point is that you're training because you're spending less amount on training. So if you're spending less amount on training, that's a dangerous point, because maybe employees are not motivated. Let me tell you one very important point here. In such organization, charitable organization, and sometimes when you work for a cause, people not only work for money. People work, obviously they get money because they want their time to be paid and they have their families and all, but at the same time they work and they support you because you're working a good thing, a good cause. And if they see that in this organization we're not being trained properly now, or maybe the board of trustees or the people up there, they have some conflict or some sort of bad reputation, some sort of poor governance, and maybe their interest has gone and all that, so they come out. Because I told you, why they work. They not only work for money, they work for a cause. All the stakeholders, whether it's customer, supply, and all that. So here you see in the non-performance thing, the number of employees go down. Why? One could be one of the point that the training thing is gone, is dropping. The commercial activity, cost of operating wildlife park, shop and cafe. Very good point. You see the cafe income point was up, and cafe is so efficient that its expense point is going down. It means generating a good bottom line for you. The expenses are going down, so it means they're more efficient. Its income is going up. It's become more attractive for the customer in terms of pricing, in terms of quality, in terms of, you can use the term value. Okay, cost of other commercial income, 1.5. That's obviously when the activities are up, definitely the price goes up. And if the price is going down with the increase in the activity, it means they're getting more efficient. Okay, so net income, if you see, huge drop from 658 It's dropped down to 236. In this environment, look at the non-financial side, look at the environmental side, and when this point your net income is down, maybe because your expenses are up, so it's time to think about this thing. Either you need to bring more income. This time you have one-off event as well. So when you talk about this net income, the bottom line, which you call the profit, I don't want you to call this profit, you call it net income or surplus, because it's a charitable organization. So either they need to increase this thing, or they need to, or they need to, sorry about this messages. Okay, or they need to reduce their expenses. But then again, when you talk about reducing the expenses, they might say, okay, we'll cut down the training. No, it should not hurt your strategic objective and your major stakeholders. Now look at the non-financial side real quick. I know the time is when we have one more requirement to do. Okay, number of paid staff employed wildlife park. Okay, see, number of employees is dropping, but the good part is number of volunteers are coming in from 154 to 180. Means maybe you become more attractive, not for your employees, no matter you paying them. There could be one point. See, in expenses, one of the point could be, maybe it's not your fault, it could be an inflationary pressure. Okay, maybe sometimes due to the activities and all that. Sometimes when you talk about the number of paid staff dropping down, who knows? They're getting maybe good job. Let's say in US, when they're talking about this minimum wage, let's say I'm talking about the taxes, I'm giving you the real case study. When the minimum wage was like $10 or $11, and now they're saying it's about $15. Who's going to work in charity or somewhere if not paying you or maybe in some other state, if somebody is not paying you the right amount, what will you do? Maybe you'll switch the job. So there is a possibility that the employees leaving, one could be, I told you, maybe it's the charitable sector is going down. The other could be the training thing. And one could be maybe they're getting good benefits out there, okay? But the volunteers are coming in because they're not paid. They're just coming, okay? They're just working because they work for a cause. So volunteers are up. So that's a good point. Key performance indicator, wildlife park visitor numbers, okay? 263 to 258. Bad point is going down, number of visitors. But yes, you increase. Why the income was up? Why the income was up? Due to the admission. Because you increase the, what you call the membership, you increase the admission fee. Maybe that could be one of the negative point for them, one of the demotivating point for them to come in. And that's why the number of visitors went down. And there could be one more thing, which is the economic recession, the first page they said. Then income per visitor from cafe and shop. Oh my God, it's from 18.68 to $22. That's a great point, 21.95. I said they're efficient, they're attractive, people are spending more time there, spending more dollars there. Average time days per staff member, that's the thing, 5.1 to dropping to 4.8. Cost per staff training day, 620 to 606. Number of external education training program run, 151 dropping to 145. Number of animals returned to natural habitats, 1.5 to 1.6. That's a good point, okay? So I know you can do it. That's not a big thing, financial and non-financial thing. Now, let me switch real quick to the next requirement, which is in its recently published annual report, the BCO set out 3 strategic objectives. I know what are those 3 strategic objectives. So many times it's said. For the next 5 years, the new chairperson is keen to understand, well, he's a new guy, in more detail how the BCO's external environment will impact. Okay, we know organization is an open system, and obviously this chairman also know that organization is an open system, and the environment hit the organization because the boundary is permeable. Yes, that's called the open system. Whatever the strategies you have, whatever the strategic objectives you have, when the environment is changing, when there's a change in environment, obviously it's going to affect your performance and your strategic objectives and all that. We all know that. Now, he wants to know how our environment, our external environment, the chairperson is keen to understand in more detail how the BCO's external environment will impact on these strategic objectives, and has asked the CFO to provide it. Okay, now what is the requirement they're asking? prepare a report. Now they're asking you to write a report, not the briefing notes. So yes, to the date, to whom you're reporting, to the CFO, because the CFO has asked you to write it for himself to the CFO. And what is the subject? Strategic objectives is affected due to the environment, or how the external environment affecting. That's the subject line, and then you can start your thing. Okay, now see, when you writing your strategy, let me give you this knowledge based thing. Or when you writing your objectives, when organization writes its objective, or set their objective for the next 5 years, especially, and a strategy and all that, it has to keep this thing in mind, the environment. Okay, because not only when you're setting your objectives, very important point here, this way you will start that organization is an open system, and how we all know that the dynamic and the uncertain and the unpredictability of the environment, because you know that what sort of environment is going on, especially when you talk about the BCO, it affects the strategic objectives of the organization and the overall organization performance, whether it's profitability, liquidity, or whatsoever. Now see, when you set your strategic objectives, when you set your objectives, when your organization set your objectives, you see your environment, that are my objectives, whatever the objectives I'm setting right now is going to fit this environment. It's not only at the time of setting the objective you see the environment, but this is actually a continuous process, because the environment is continuously changing. Okay, the competitors, their strategies are continuously changing, the legal environment is changing, the political environment is changing. When you talk about the border fight forces, the threats of new entrants are changing, the risk of substitute is changing. There's so many things in the environment is changing. So it's not like that when you setting your objective, you just consider your environment just one time and then, okay, go back to sleep. Our environment is fine, let's move on. No, there is a continuous process that every time the external environmental influences are changing, you need to look at your objectives. It could be favorable, and maybe it could be a bad guy for your objectives. Okay, it could be an adverse thing for your objectives. So there are challenges and there are opportunities as well for your organization, especially when they're not only asking about your organization, they're asking about specific, those 3 strategic objectives. And the model we can apply here is the GREAT model. You can use maybe 2 or 3 models as well, but the good point is here, a very simple model should apply is the PESTEL one. When you talk about the macro environmental analysis, okay, PESTEL model, that how political environment, the economical environment of BCO and the social environment of BCO, looking at the exhibits and the footnotes and the case study, what is the picture in your mind? What do you think that how this environment is going to affect the strategic objectives of the organization? Maybe a support for your organization. Maybe this environment could be a favorable thing. Don't start your paper or don't start your requirement if you got this such type of requirement, because most of the people, they think that environment is a bad guy always. No, it could be a favorable, good guy for you. Okay, and maybe for some industries and for some company, the same environmental impact is a bad, the other, they enjoy it. Okay, all right, so let me see myself. Let's talk about the, first of all, definitely write the CFO and all that, and then you start up with an introduction. You can write like this, okay, the open system and all that. And this I said, when you set an objectives and then it's a continuous process. Now, look at the political environment of PCO. See, the political uncertainty, yes, is always there. Political uncertainty. When you talk about the political environment, the political uncertainty is there, which affects the charitable sector, which affects the charitable organization as well. Okay, now here, not only the uncertainty, but the new parties, those who are coming up with their manifesto. Okay, sometimes the political parties come up. I remember there was a question in ACCA P3, and there was a very great public sector organization, good public sector organization. They were getting funding from the government, and everything was fine, the board of directors, management, all that. Suddenly the government has changed. The new government comes in and they said, no more public funding, no more treasury funding to you guys. Okay, whatever you want to do, you do it yourself, generate your own income, and okay, we're good. But we're not going to provide you the hard-earned tax money of the public. Here, Same case here in the political environment, especially when you look at the BCO, the recession. So when there is a change in government, or when look at the political parties manifesto, what they want, obviously they want public support, they want their position, they want their power and all that. How? By even let's say if they are in economic recession time, they want some sort of economic sustainability, and obviously which is going to affect the BCO. But in our case, when we look at our strategic objectives require, I talk about political and economical both, all our strategic objectives require funds. If due to this political environment, political uncertainty, which is there, and economical uncertainty, which is there, the recession, if it is not favorable for us, which it looks like, obviously it is going to affect all three strategic objectives of ours, whether it's about the training thing, whether it's about the animal, because all these things require what I just mentioned. It requires fund. But at the same time, if you look at the case study, if you look at the question, BCO, I think last year or what, they actually secured some sort of big public sector grant of 2 million. I don't know about the number, but I think it was 2 million or 20 million. You can check it out. Okay, I don't want to waste time right now. So, okay, even with this uncertainty, the good part here is because they want funds and they want resources, keep this thing in mind when you're doing this requirement, that how this political environment is affecting our three strategic objectives for the next 5 years. So yes, the political environment, they come up with their manifesto, they're looking at the recession right now, and obviously it is going to affect the charitable sector. Look at what the exhibit, one of the articles, there are two articles actually, and those articles talking about the poor governance of the overall charitable sector, not the BCO. So there is actually a bad publicity going on, and obviously the political environment takes the benefit of that, and obviously it's going to affect this. At the same time, the economical environment, when there is a recession, when the recession comes in, see, when there is a boom, if the boom is going on, people enjoy luxuries in their basic needs and all that, and when they have good funds, the surplus or the amount other than after spending all this thing, what do? They give to the charities as well, they do some social work as well. See, but when there is a recession, what people want, the first of all, they cut down their luxuries, or okay, first of all, they cut down external stakeholders, those who are enjoying on their income, let's say the charities and the social things. So they say, okay, we don't have money anymore, we can provide you that. Okay, number one thing. Number two is then they cut down the luxury because they have just satisfied their basic need. That's it. They just want their own sustainability. Right now, we're talking about in the economic recession time, you talking about the planet sustainability. The important point here is they actually want their own sustainability, their own physical and their own family sustainability. So that's the very important point here. So in time of recession going on, and definitely it is going to affect if it is not handled properly by BCO and the financial manager and the finance department, all that, and if they're not efficient in terms of expenses, they have this inflationary pressure as well, and their incomes and donation and all that, and external environment, their incomes are going down, the unemployment is there, the recession is there, their good businesses are going down. Who is going to support the charity? So this is the economic thing. Obviously, it's going to affect. Now, then you can say the social environment. Yes, it says the case study. What the case study says, that the youth, they're growing and they're born in economic recession times. This is what the case study said. So okay, so and there is one more term they use, this customer fatigue, the donor fatigue. Donors, they don't like hard selling. Donors, they don't like the charities and charitable sector to get hard donations, the hard way to get the donation. I just told you last time that every time when you go to the sports store and you go to cash counter, they ask you money. You swipe your card and it says, can you give $1? This is all hard ways. Every time they give you this pamphlet thing, and wherever you go, they come. Sometimes they come on your homes and they knock and they say, okay, we're doing this. People don't want this thing. So that's the social environment. That's again, like the people taste is changing, especially the youth and all that. Their taste is changing, and obviously, if their taste is changing, they are your major source of survival. Okay, whether it's not about the animal, it's about the people, because they come in, they spend time there. Your cafe earns, via membership you earns, the subscription you earn, and the donation they give you, and the legacies and all that, and the will. If they don't like you, if they don't like the charitable sector and all that, and they're looking at the news and everything, you have seen the articles, those are public, you can write all these things. Social environment. So this social environment, if it is not handled properly, it's going to affect this, obviously, your strategic objective. Technological environment. People are, there is a relationship between the S and T. The generation, the youth, the kids, the new generation, they're more engaged with the games and the social media platforms and all that. So obviously, when they are spending their time on social media, on the website and the tech, and they have gadgets and all that. So this is a bad point and an adverse point, that they have no more relationship with all this sustainability work. But yes, if it could be an opportunity as well, as in the case is that they are spending now, the BCO is spending amount on the website, on the functionality of the website, a new e-business, e-commerce thing, a new digital marketing and the social media platform and all that. If you take this technology, because what they're doing, they have this cell phone and their gadgets and their platforms and their Instagram and all that. Obviously, there could be a source of deviation, or this could be one of the areas where they spend. Let me give you one example, one good example. If you go back and you see, people used to spend a lot of amount, big numbers on leather jackets, leather pants, leather jackets and all that, like especially on fashion and all that. After this super smart technology and all, now obviously you all have the limited funds. Now people are spending more their funds, not on those leather things and their boots and all that. They're more on latest model of iPhone. We need iPhone 12 Pro Max. We need, then not only iPhone, okay, we need a good internet connection. We need some sort of music there. We need AirPods. We need AirPods Pro Max. We need the Apple Watch. Like, see, the spending patterns has changed. Same case here. Due to the technological environment, the new gadgets and all that, and the new platform, and the new avenues, and new apps, and new games, and it's like aligned with the taste of these new generation, the new guys. So if you want them to be your guys, you'll have to be on the same platform. Okay, a good website, all that. So this technological environment, it could be great positive number, but at the same time, it could be a challenge as well. Looks like more like challenging if the e-business and things are not handled properly. Ecological environment. You are there because of this environment. That's a very important environment for you. The ecological environment, the activity of the people, the activity of, because okay, what we do, sometimes we see in Texas here, we see the animals, because I live like next to the nature. Like I live in nature. I'm that type of guy. I live in nature. So we have this natural creek here, the natural jungle, and all the trees and the lake. I'm surrounded by all this. So sometimes we got this coyote, the bobcats. It's very regular to that. Armadillo, and there's so many animals there. So when our society, and when we guys complain, when we say sometimes, hey, this guy came in, this armadillo is damaging my front yard, damaging my what do you call, the plants and all that. So then we all realize that they're actually not coming at our place. We actually came here, their place and on their habitats. It is actually their place. It was actually their place, and it is their place. But what we did, we humans, what we did, we made this law, we allowed this property and then construction and all that. So the thing, when you look at the ecological environment, so in ecological environment, once again, there is a relationship between E and S. It's the people, it's the irresponsible behavior of the people, which is actually the creation, which is actually the purpose of your organization. That okay, why those animals and those species, what's the threat they have? It's all the human activity, human irresponsible activity. What's the threat they have? It's all about the commercial activity. It's all about the irresponsible corporate commercial activities. So you can say, like, it's all the activity of the humans which is actually becoming the purpose of your organization and purpose of creating these strategic objectives, all three, whether it's training, animal habitats, and millions of people, you're giving them, what you call the training and awareness. So with this, if this environment, if this thing continues, what will happen? If the same irresponsible behavior of the people continue, and they're not willing to give you donation, and at the same time, they are like becoming a danger for the species and all that, what will happen? The challenge for the charities will go up. The challenge for the organizations like BCO will go up. And when there is a challenge goes up, you'll need more resources, and they are not ready to provide you resources. You need more resources to achieve your strategic objective or for the survival of your organization, but at the same time, they're becoming more responsible. Challenge is up, and their demand is also up. Okay, there's one more point here. It's not only about challenge. Just a typical layman example. You have something, a burger or something, or you drink something, and then you just throw it on the door and you say, oh, why so much trash on the door? Why so much trash, or why so much mess, so much debris on the roads? What government is doing? What should be the rational reply? What are you doing? What are you doing? Because everybody is doing the same thing, okay? And then blaming each other. That's the thing. This you have to write in the examination, that due to the irresponsible behavior of the corporates and the humans, not only the challenge is going up, but at the same time their demands are going up, because what they see, what they actually want, they want this society to be, first of all, they claim this their society, which was actually not their society. They actually affect the whole natural cycle. But then what they want, this is their demand, that they want it to be clean, and they don't want the other stakeholder to come back or to create a pressure. And if there is any NGO or charity, what they want then those charities to work, and there's so many demands then. So that's the thing. So this ecological environment is a big challenge, and this is actually the purpose of your existence and all those strategic objectives. Then comes the legal environment. Yes, the laws are also changing, the regulations are also changing. We have seen the case study says that it's no more allowed because people are fed up with this donations and all that, especially the way and the process. It's not only about the donation, it's about the process and the way you're asking it. So there are so many regulations coming up, and this is a natural thing. Okay, this is a real thing, real regulations going up, that they're asking, let's say, so many charities and there's so many organizations, they're not allowed to ask donation in the public areas, the public transport, or maybe on the departmental stores somewhere. So yes, this legal environment also become a big challenge. A big challenge for the overall charitable sector, not only in terms of donation. Second, the legal environment asks you to perform. Look at the article. The case says that the poor governance system, people are giving you the fund and the donation, but there's so many bad news coming up about the scandals, about the collapses, and this is what's going on in the real environment. Whatever the money they get, they have this hi-fi living and their lavish lifestyle and all that, and sometimes due to that poor governance, the whole organization is collapsed. And when the whole organization is collapsed, that was a limited company or something, the donors and the people, those who are actually working or those who actually spend their legacies and all that to you, it just went in fraud. It's a total collapse. So that's the thing. That's what law is there. That's the legal environment is there, or the regulators are there. So this time, not only the big challenge is because of the way they're getting the income, and due to the regulations, they're not supposed to do the certain revenue streams. They're not supposed to touch that. The second is the more auditing by law and more good governance, corporate governance requirement, and more financial reporting requirement and integrated reporting requirement, all that. And if you go and see, like in different, in the different regions, in the different jurisdiction, maybe the UK and all that, the charities are by law, they're supposed to have legal audit, third-party audit, and the mandatory audit for their donors, and they have to prepare the financial statement. But yes, in some jurisdiction, they're fine if they don't do it. but sometimes they do it voluntary basis also, because when you present your financials, no matter it's not allowed by law, when you present your financials and you tell your donors and your stakeholders that how we spending each and every penny, it means you're bringing more transparency. You're bringing more transparency. So when you do that, you get more funds. So that's the thing. That is also a challenge for them. So in the end, I told you the first paragraph, and in the end, after doing this pestle model and all that, you can say, see, in the profit organization, obviously there are marketing, there are competitors and all that, and there are pressures and there are strategies as well. But same case here in non-profit organization, they also had this environment and how this affect their organization, their performance and their objectives and all that. So there are challenges, and at the same time there are opportunities if it is handled and if it is read properly, if it is interpreted properly and timely. Okay, the environment is the impact of environment, if not taken seriously and if not taken timely, it will become an opportunity for other guy and you will be over. Okay, the last requirement of today's class, and then we'll have, so I just need 5-10 more minutes. It's a very simple requirement. Prepare 3 presentation slides. When it's about the presentation slide, 1 slide, 2 slides, 3 slides, and then the explanation, because sometimes they don't want to look at the details, they just want to see the slides. Prepare 3 presentation slides with accompanying notes, obviously the explanation, which recommend with clear justification 3 application of information technology that the BCO could use to enhance its e-business capabilities. Okay, we have seen in the case they're saying that they will be doing their website thing, and at the same time they're spending amount on e-business. They're spending amount on e-business, and what actually they want, the same 3 presentation slide. Okay, let me see, what is that plan? Here you go. This is page number 6 and exhibit 1. And you see the second last paragraph. A huge amount of work over the year went into updating our member database management system, which will be in okay. And further investment is in information technology. Okay. In our drive to streamline our business and to educate and communicate more effectively with our stakeholders. We will be launching a redesigned website in 2002, and are looking for new opportunities to e-business technology more effectively in the areas such as, number 1, online education. They are one of the strategic objectives. Second is the digital marketing, and the third one is the social media. Wow, great. What you have to do is 1, 2, 3, but for each, what you need to do, let me see myself. What you need to do with number 1, like these are the 3, when they are investing in the e-business, the BCO investing in e-business, and these are the below are the 3 areas where they're going to invest. So you need to write the features, like what is actually social media, what are their characteristics, and then what is our share, what we gonna do, how we will enjoy it. Okay, so for number 1, which is online education, make the slide 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever the benefits you write, and then you explain down the slide. You explain after, once the slide is done following it, you write the briefing notes like explanation. Okay, let's talk about the online education thing. See, when we talk about right now, what is their strategic objective is to provide education and training. That is their strategic objective. But what they're saying, they want to change the process, the way how they do it. See, I used to teach physically. Right now also I'm teaching, but what the process and the way and the platform is changed, the field is changed. It's the same thing I'm doing it, but online. So if they do it online education, what are the benefits? What are actually the characteristics of online education, and what is the share of, what is the benefit, what is in there for BCO? Okay. The very important is, it is actually linked up with their strategic objectives. It is linked up with their strategic objectives. Okay. One of their strategic objectives is to provide education, is to provide training to their volunteers and to their employees and to the local community as well. So with the help of online education, when they were doing it with the traditional way, when you do it online, what are the benefits you get? Unlimited. You have this like big enough, let's say this When I was teaching physically, there was only competition within a city. But now when I'm teaching online, people from whether it's from US, Canada, India, Pakistan, Mauritius, everywhere, like people are looking at, see right now, when I'm making my videos or when I'm giving you this lecture, everybody, people from different countries, you can see. So with the help of this online education, the BCO, which is one of their strategic objectives, obviously their share will increase. The market share will increase. They'll have more people to educate and communicate. Okay. The second part is the flexibility thing. With the help of online education, with using these platforms, it is more flexible. Like people, the employees and the volunteers, whoever wants to get the training, they can work on their own productive time. Let's say when I say, whenever you want, you can listen to this lecture. If you are a morning person, you can do it in the morning. But if you like working with the moon, okay, nighttime you can study it. So okay, it will be more flexible. It will be helping you in achieving your strategic objectives. Then what? It is actually efficient also in terms of resources. Just record your lecture one time, sell it to as many people as you want. You can ask as many people as they want. Whenever they want, they can do it, whenever and wherever. Yes, it is more independence of location. They don't need to come over here. Okay, they don't need, because sometimes it's a very demotivating factor for people to come at your place. But when it's just about a click, you just click and your teacher is there. Okay, so with the help of this online education, they not only achieve that their one of the strategic objective, but it will also help in the other objective as well. How? They will be able to get more funds, because when people are aware about all these things, obviously when they know the importance of this natural cycle and sustainability, they'll get more funds and all. Then second is the digital marketing. What is digital marketing? You guys understand, okay? When you see Burger King near me, you'll have so many pop-ups. Fast food near me, or I'm hungry, or even nowadays what happened? When you talk to your partner, you say, let's have some fast food, and suddenly things are pop up. That's the digital marketing thing that I'm saying, the Google marketing, or what I say SEO, search engine optimization marketing. It is marketing, but the field is changing. Again, you look at your customer, your stakeholders, you try to satisfy their needs, and obviously you want profitability at the end. Here you can say, in a profit organization, obviously marketing director, marketing department, this is the most important thing. Like if you can't market, you can't sell it. When there is no selling, there is no value creation for the shareholder, for the customer, or any stakeholder. But in the non-governmental or the charitable organization, marketing is nowadays, by looking at the environment, this you're right, it is equally important compared to commercial organization, because they got the same competitors, they have the same cost pressure, inflationary pressure. It is not like the public sector that you're getting the money from the government and just let's carry on. Okay, this is the budget, we'll have this number and we're getting the money. No, for your own survival and for your sustainability, you also have to do this marketing and all that thing. Okay, whether in terms of 6 I's, product place, price promotion, 7 P's and all that, you also have to understand all these things and apply all these strategies, especially the marketing strategies. So here in this case, in the case of BCO, if they opt this digital marketing, first of all, it will be cost effective. Right now, what is their pressure? Now, come on, link it with the financial statement. What is the pressure right now? Their overall net income is down. Their net income is down. Okay, so to manage this net income, what they want to do is either they want to increase the income, which they can get it through digital marketing, but at the same time it is cost effective, so their marketing expense will go down. They want their marketing expense to go down, and at the same time it is more efficient, it has more reach. So here you can talk about this SEO thing, search engine optimization. One more thing, they are going to launch their website. So if they are going to launch their website, which is not only an informational website, it is going to be a full functional website. So obviously it has to be linked up with this search engine, and it should be popped up everywhere. Whenever there is a relevant stakeholder on the media and technology, it has to be, it will not only, it's a good marketing, it's a perfect use of this website thing, it will also enhance your brand visibility with this digital marketing. Because nowadays it's not only about the young people, everywhere, it's online education or gaming, Everybody is wrapped up with this technology thing. Here you can also talk about the social environment as well, that our youth and everyone, they're wrapped up with technology. With the help of digital marketing, you can catch them too, okay, the BCO. Then comes this, okay, one more thing. With this digital marketing, you can write the same point on social media as well. Now, when you talk about the social media, bringing your presence on social media, okay, let's say the Facebook or the YouTube channel and all that, what are the benefits the BCO will get? First of all, this is the reality that everybody, whether they have food or not, whether they have TV or not, people are spending more time, less time on their big TVs and the media and all that, but more time on their small gadgets, which is in their pockets and their social media platform, okay? No matter with the physical relationship, they are out or they have the distance. But when it's about the virtual friend and social media platform, this is the fact. First of all, you talk about all these things, especially your youth. Not only your youth, everybody has this social media account, and you can also, in examination, you can talk about Facebook and Instagram and all that because they are global companies. Now, when BCO will have the social media platform, what will happen? First, they can have their regular post in terms of videos, in terms of pictures, in terms of their daily rituals, routines. They can share the facts. Like when you, this is also one of your, this social media platform will help you in achieving one of your strategic objective. What was that? The third one. Ensure 1 million people knows about you, knows about the cause. This way you can do it. It's not like that. When I was not making my video, when I was just a physical teacher, yes, people used to know me. A lot of people, I used to have a big market share in my whole city of like 25 million people. Yes, big market share, big teaching and everything. But I cannot match that thing and that publicity and that popularity with this time. This time when I just upload one video, boom, there's so many people, thousands and hundreds of thousands. Even some of my videos like reach by 1 million, 2 million, even 5 million. I've seen some. So what is that? There is no match between this social media platform and you do it like physically and the traditionally. There's no match. That's why if you talk about the politics, you talk about the religion, religious leader, political leaders, business leader, whatever. Everybody is on the social media platform and they're doing their marketing and their presence. With this, you can post your videos, your pictures and all that. Especially when you talk about the BCO, they can post animal pictures. They can get some emotional vote. What is their mission? To protect the animal life. How? They'll get the resources from the people to save animal. So what they can do? Well, you have seen this on social media. Most of the time, what they do, they present the pictures. This is what happening to our water. This is what happening to our sea. This is what happening to our jungle. This is what happening to the poor animals, to the poor parrots and all that. Here in US, there are so many organizations that talk about this, adopting parrots, the cats, the dogs, and all that. Yeah, people are giving like huge funding. Everybody, even some people have put their credit card on auto pay, that every month deduct X dollar from an account for the dogs, for the cats. Yes. So how they can do it? Through social media platforms. So this is going to be one of the benefits. One of the strategic objective will help in achieving this. One of the strategies with the help of the social media platform. You'll have more brand visibility. Your presence. You will be presenting in that platform where everyone is there. The whole from Africa to America, everyone is there on that platform. Then you'll able to get more donation. Okay, when you put your advertisement and your things on social media, you can post that button, donate now, buy now, visit more, learn more, all that thing with the help of social media. One more thing, gone are the days when people used to go on your website directly, www. When you used to give when you used to exchange your cards, and on that card we used to have a big website address. I'm talking about the old days. So what people used to do, they used to save your the business card, and they have that website thing. It's not the link, it's actually the website. Nowadays people have no time to go and type your website address. No, they just click on it, right? That's the thing. So here's the case. In the old time, people used to go on the website directly, but now they don't go on the website directly. Well, how they go? They go via social media. First, they go on your Facebook or your Instagram, and then you put like learn more. They just click, and it is directing you towards your website. So here is the point: with the help of social media platform, the BCO will able to get more traffic on the website, especially the new website which is coming up in 2002. So if they have good number of followers on social media right from now, they have good social media platform like Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook and all that, and the videos and the pictures and all that stuff is there right now. They are, they will be in the good and better position to launch their website smartly. One more thing, it's not only about just putting one or two pictures and all that. The history matters. The history of your videos. Let's say if you go on my page, if I have only 2 videos, nobody's going to follow me. Say, oh, it's just 2 videos, or maybe it's talk about the recipes, or if you go on any YouTube channel, they give you like about the food and about all this, the cars and sports and all that. People want the complete, the big database, the big history, the big, hashtagging. Let's say if you go on my page and you see one video, once the video is done, it's over. You'll get the second video pop up by Facebook. Hey, you can watch this also. The third video will pop up, the fourth video. All the people similar to my taste and similar to your taste, you'll have more videos coming up. So that's why people. So here in this case in BCO, if they start the social media platform, they invest in e-business technology and all that, it will be becoming their history, which not only able to attract new followers, existing followers, people those who are visiting you, they can also like your page, and this way they can have a big customer database on the number of followers and all that, number of likes and hits on there, and this way they can do what? They can have their funds, resources, income, and ultimately their strategic objectives are going to be met. All right. It's a subjective question. It's a subjective paper, and it's an open paper. So that's why when an examiner when the examiner give you the suggestion, you also give the disclaimer. He or she gives you a disclaimer that you can have more points. And this is not the final. This is not the final. Even let's say you're going in 2022 paper, okay? And if somebody gives you the paper which is already solved, and he asks you to just do it word by word, the examiner solution, you can do that in 3 to 4 hours. Everything you have to do it with your mind. Okay, and it's not the hard and fast rule that you apply this particular model or whatever the examiner or the teacher is saying, the Mirchawala is saying, or no, you don't need to do that. It's all your choice, but whatever you're writing, that should make sense. That must make sense. I say. It's like it's an open question. Whatever let's say the person next sitting you, and when you're done with your examination, when you go out, and you say, hey, what did you write in that one? What was the point you said? I did this, and you said, oh, I did the opposite of that. Still, there is a possibility, and I'm sure you'll both get 100 marks. You'll both get 10% marks. Why? Because whatever the point he presented, he actually proved it. So that's what I'm saying. Whatever the point you're writing, that must make sense. You have to prove your statement. You have to provide the logic behind it. You have to marshal your thought. If he has done that, you have done that, you both good. You don't need to worry till the result day. That, oh my God, he's not the benchmark. Even the examiner is not the benchmark, and not the teacher is the benchmark, nor the book is the benchmark. No, it's you. You have to write it, okay? And it's not only about you write within the just book concept, I say, the book context, or within the I say the study material and the revision kit and all that. No? Why this commercial acumen? Why this skepticism and all that? And why they're saying that you read all those Harvard Business Review and Economist and all that? You need to look outside the box as well. See the industry, where the environment is going on, where the COVID is going on. Is the vaccine there or not? Okay, is it post-COVID environment is going on, or pre-COVID or during COVID? How is the pandemic going on? Sort of people doing in this thing. So everything should be in mind, and you are in the real world. Okay, you're a consultant. That's it. And I'll see you in the next meeting. We'll have 2 more requirements here. Very soon we'll be doing it. Okay. Wish you good luck. You have a great day now. Thank you.